Oh, we back on once again. A very good evening to everyone, a very good day, wherever you're watching from, and welcome to the Sandman Sports Live Show. And today we've got a very, I don't know if I can say tricky guest. The ID name is Siphesihle Nkabini, but you know what? At UJ, they know him as Mr. Lifestyle. He is a Pepe La Pepe because of what he brings to the field. Pepe, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for hosting me. Thanks for the people that are gonna come onto the show, and yeah, feeling very good about this one.
No, man. You know what? I'm actually quite excited to have you on the show because of the conversations that we've recently had, quite recent actually. But of course, today we're talking everything rugby, but we're going to be focused on your career, your journey, in terms of how you got into the UJ space, and just a little bit of advice to everyone who might be watching in terms of how they can find themselves in the same position. So just to start it off, Pepe, rugby. I mean, I'm saying this because I've seen you Joel soccer, and you're not a bad soccer player. You know what I mean? So I'm like, why did you pick rugby, man? You've got the soccer boy walk, and then you just said, "Now I'm gonna play ruggers." Why? Why did we start there?
So actually, you know what? You started on the right track. So I was raised by grandparents, obviously, and my grandfather just knew soccer. So I used to play soccer up until matric. Um, I used to love it because it's the easiest sport to play around. So you just get two, three guys. There we go, outside, backyard. Let's go play,
Yeah,
boys. So I was in love with it, and then I didn't fall out of love, but I saw this oval ball from my brother.
yeah.
I was in grade 6, he was in grade 11, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So he came with to the house. He used to leave Saturdays. He's going to play rugby, and I'm just like, why would you go play rugby if the soccer? So he used to speak about it. Came back. He's buff. I'm like, yo, yeah, maybe I should give it a go. So that's how it started. Then I used to go watch his games. But he used to come watch me play soccer. And then this one time he was doing a drill at home. So I was helping him pass, and he got an offer to go to the Shots Academy actually. So I was helping him with his passing drills, and we used to do one-on-one tackling. So I
Mm.
basically fell in love with the rugby at the backyard at home with my brother. So that's how I actually fell in love with it. And he was pushing me to actually go play soccer.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so
So
so it's not that with ragas you got to interact Nabelung when you're like, yo, maybe my English is gonna get better. And you're like, no, let me play ragas instead. So
no,
that
no, no, none of that.
yeah, now very interesting actually. So now, I mean, you saying you started playing it at a very late stage in your life from what I hear, because you started with soccer up until matric. For I watch you play on the field, and I'm like, there's no ways. Right now, I'm like, there's no ways that you started so late. Um, what pushed it? I mean, I'm just trying to understand, that how you actually got to where you are right now, because I can tell you for free, it's very hard making any varsity side, and now you are honored to represent the University of Johannesburg, not in one varsity cup, but I'm sure you've got a couple under your belt, and also USA or USA, whatever they call it. How did we then, from passing in the backyard, move to being such a great player that we witnessed every year at Varsity Cup?
Okay, so obviously I wanted to study, um,
Yeah.
but I knew getting there is going to be a problem because of finances. So I fell in love with soccer, thinking I'll probably make it there. Then obviously when I was in grade 6, started playing at the backyard. Got to a school called Carter High, which is it's more of a soccer school. They had rugby, all the other sports, but they were focused on soccer because at that time we had Maritzburg United. They
Mm,
were training at our school. So I then got there. Obviously played under 14, 14 Ace actually. I was on wing. Just got the ball. I just ran. I then started obviously falling in love with it, but I knew my aim was to obviously go to a school like Maritzburg College because I'm from KZN.
Yeah.
the Glenwood, the top schools.
Yeah.
So I applied there, got accepted, but again, finances. So Carter just paved the way for me to play, okay, under 14s. I think I started playing first team in grade 10 because obviously there's under 14, 15, 16, first team. We didn't have a second team back then. So at that time, I didn't have Super Sports 201. There's 201 back then. So I used to wake up, watch 200 splits, catch up
Yes.
on my
Yes.
favorite player, was David McKenzie back then,
Yeah.
fullback. Then I used to go when I was in grade 8. Used to go watch my brother play rugby. I was so motivated by that guy, and I told him in his face that one day I'll actually do much higher, I'll achieve much higher things than you. And he used to laugh about it. So then I had to work extra hard to be a Maritzburg College boy. You
Yeah.
understand? So
Yeah.
I had to play a game. After playing a game, there's no need for me to go watch my first team because I'm not going to learn much back then. So I quickly play a game at Carter, run to Maritzburg College, chill there with my late aunt, watch rugby there until they play first team. So my peers, people that I knew, were at Maritzburg College. In fact, I think you know him, Jabum Chara was at Maritzburg College.
Yeah.
Used to go watch him. Then you see rugby. Then you see, okay, yeah, this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I did that, did homework, had to train, obviously back home, had to train at school to be better. Once I reached first team at Carter, things were a bit different because I wanted to be at another level, but I can't because of the school. So I had to balance
Mhm.
rugby and soccer, up until matric. Matric, I had a offer to go to the Sharks Academy, not the main Sharks Academy. So they had two branches. One was at Margate, one was in
Yeah.
Pietermaritzburg. The one in Pietermaritzburg took me and gave me a bursary. Went there. We did our test in Durban. So we used to go to the main branch, train there, do our test, and then Jabulo Chara. He's the one that
Yeah.
actually hooked me up with Coach Itumeleng Mokgotsi at UJ. Got there. That was the real world. There, you get there,
Yeah.
you start playing against people that you looked up to while you were in high
Yeah.
school. You understand?
Yeah.
So
I get it.
I,
I
I
get it.
mean, I used to wake up, go on, I think Espresso, SABC 3, if I'm not mistaken, back
Yes.
then.
Yes.
You,
Yes.
might,
Yes.
you see the likes of that guy's gonna captain the Springbok now, Salman Murat. You
Yeah.
see Kanye Musane, you see Chan Lombard. So I used to I used to love watching those guys do their thing on the weekend because they obviously on the top schools. So that motivated me to become who I am now.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. You know what? We see you as a rock star in the streets, and we don't necessarily know the whole story behind it. You spoke about David as one of your idols. Growing up. Um, I just want you to dive deeper into it in terms of. I know you spoke about your brother having a massive impact on your game as well, but you spoke about David. Any senior icons or legends that you also just looked up to, um, that sort of made you say, you know what, one day I want to represent my country, one day I want to wear the Springbok badge. Is there anyone that stands out that you like, you know what, Cody, that brew is the one, eh?
So I liked obviously David McKenzie. Like he came out of high school. He went obviously Super Rugby, got MVPs. He was a fullback. He was weighing 72 kgs, if I'm not mistaken, back then. So he was small. Obviously, I didn't go to a big school, so I didn't have access to the gym and all the stuff.
Yeah.
So I looked up to that guy. And then when I started watching Varsity Cup, I started watching obviously a Piwe. I mean,
Yeah.
God, yes. That guy was just phenomenal.
Yeah,
That
machine.
guy, he 2018, it took him 1 year to make a breakthrough through Varsity Cup.
100%.
You go
Yeah.
back to Varsity Cup, Danny Craven days, that's Stellenbosch. You watching Craig Berry. Because they back then I used to love playing fullback. Duncan Saar, Edwin van der Merwe. So I started watching Varsity Cup, Super Sport. Yes, this is a big stage. This is a platform. This is what I want to do. But to
Yeah.
get there, I don't know how to. I said a plan will be made for me to get there. So Damon McKenzie for me at the early stages was just my guy. I mean, he was my role model. And then obviously I wanted to go to varsity, and then they came up here, Janchi, and just see, yeah, that was good to watch. I mean, at this stage now, I can sit back and say I've worn that guy's jersey. He was playing 13 at UJ. I'm
Yeah.
playing 13 at UJ. So uh, I've achieved goals that I set for myself, and
Yeah.
it's not easy to get obviously there because of the struggles you go through, the
No, hundred
sacrifices you must
percent.
do. Yeah, so I'll say for me, Damien McKenzie and Apire Janchi.
So very interesting that you speak about Apiwe, because he's not too old. You know, he's also a Gen Z. You know, if I may say.
Yes.
And now you also touched on, just before we got into this conversation of who you looked up to. You also touched base with when you got to Joburg. So now you arrive in the big city and you've seen what the University of Johannesburg produces. I mean, your Apiwes, your Ronald Brown.
Mm.
Those are big players. So now you arrive in this environment that has players that you look up to, players that you know you've always wanted to maybe share a field with. Now, how's the transition from small town or small school? Like you said, I didn't come from a big school, so now it's not like all the rest of the guys where they know each other from these Craven weeks, or they know each other from fixtures. Now you get into this system, and you don't know a lot of guys, but you can see, jeepers, there's plenty of talent in the room. How do you then transition from being small town Oak into now you here? How do you then say to Coach Stumi, I've arrived, I'm here?
Mm. So, Cody, to touch on that, we had 2019, we had I think about 55 provincial players
Yes.
in the young gun squad. So you
Yes.
get there, you're like, oh, this guy was at Craven Week. This guy's at the Lions. This guy's this guy's this guy's this. Okay, I'm here now. How do I then say,
Yeah.
Coach, please pick me?
Yes.
Cody, you have to work twice as hard as the guys that are there, because they already have the fundamentals. They know
Yeah.
the game more than you. If you're not willing to learn from your peers first, it's very hard for you to actually play amongst them. So I had to take out my personality and join and say, okay, gents, this is Pepe. I'm cool guy to chill with. Love laughing. I love being around friends. I want to grow. I had to grow with my peers. So I had to go to Jabula and say, yo, Jara, I want to run this line. How do I do it? The
Yeah.
coach can only coach me for, let's say, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
after that, what do you do after training? What the work doesn't start before training. The work is you're watching rugby every day. You're watching the hacker. I mean, we had access to Wi-Fi. You, you in
Oh,
love with rugby.
finally
Rugby
you're
is
in the city now. You had Wi-Fi, hey?
you had yeah. So rugby is me. So the only way I
Yeah.
can do it is I have to watch rugby. I have to go train. I have to learn as much as possible. I mean, when I got here, there were still the likes of Odon Kunjana.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you see these guys all of a sudden, yes, but they're at the track, they're running. Yo, okay. If I put more hours into my craft, I can maybe one day wear the 13 jersey that I want at UJ. It's like that. So I
Yeah.
had to learn amongst my peers. I hear the coaching that we get, top tier. I mean, Coach Tumi was a very hard guy on us, very hard. I mean, that guy once chased me away from training just because I couldn't get a drill. Do you understand? That's how much he values his job. So if that guy can value that job, his job like that towards me, I must say, okay, coach, I fucked up here, yes, but I'll work extra hard to make sure I don't make that same mistake again. So I had to sit back and say, okay, Pepe, allow yourself to learn from guys that have been there before.
Yeah.
That's what helped me, Cody.
I know, and I hear, you speaking about the yards that you put in for the rugby, but most of our viewers probably don't understand that you first had to be a student before you're an athlete, because you're a student athlete, and I mean, you already worked hard to get yourself here. Now, part of your contract is that you must maintain your grades in order for you to play Varsity Cup. So now, how do you balance, Pepe? How do you balance studies and trying to make it into the team as a small town gent? How hard was that, or how did you then maneuver yourself around that?
So, firstly, you must accept help from others, people
Yeah,
that have done it before, obviously. But rugby teaches you discipline, Cody. So, without me studying, if I don't get 60 credits, that's me. Don't negotiate, you go back home. If I go back home, I'm going back home to what, Cody? Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
I get you.
you have then to balance school by obviously going to class. Coach, I have class. I can't make this study. I can't make this session because I have class, but I'll make sure I'll catch up at this
Yeah,
hour. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
yeah.
you have to juggle it to a point where, as much as you want rugby, school is first, then it's rugby. I know we. I mean, when I got here, I wanted rugby, 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 rugby. Then they tell
I
you
can
about the
imagine.
rules.
That's what I heard from
60
the
credits.
conversation. Yeah,
So 60 credits. 60 credits is not easy. Okay. The institution. One thing about UJ, and I hope it's for other varsities as well. You there's supportive systems. We had a lady called Jackie. You remember
yeah,
Jackie? So
yeah.
if things go tough, I could go back to Jackie and say, Jackie, I can't balance school. I'm struggling with one, two, three. Then they help you. You've
So
if
so 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 just to put a little bit of light into this, Jacqueline is the academic advisor at this time.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So it was her. If emotionally you obviously drain and stuff, there's something called psyched. Do you understand?
yeah,
So if you allow yourself to say, okay, firstly accept that you're struggling with school.
yeah,
Then
Mm,
you go there and say, okay, I'm struggling with school. How do I balance this, man? Jackie will find a way to say, okay, do this, do this. These are your defensive mechanisms. Do that, do this, do this, do this. Then you can say, okay, I've got school balanced. Let me go to rugby now. You wake up. I mean, Cody preseason is it's a lot. So at
yeah,
6 you're at the gym, correct?
yeah.
At 10 you have a unit session. At 2 you have a field session. At 4, 5 you're done. Let's say your day's over. This is preseason.
Yeah.
You then have time to go and say, okay, let me just open my books. Let me just catch up on what I've missed, what I've. But because we're so glued to rugby, we quickly say, yes, I'm tired. I'll see tomorrow.
mm,
Tomorrow
Yeah.
becomes another day, Cody. The
Yeah.
assignment is the day before. Tomorrow, you probably maybe let's say you have a game on a Monday. We
Yeah.
play Mondays. We're playing in Cape Town, Cody.
Yeah.
You haven't. You're gonna. The first thing our mistake was we quick to say I'll get a sick test.
Oh,
That's where problem is. Now you're on catch up, Cody. By the time you're back, Cody, you have a sick test. Okay, you still have tests that are coming up. Do you understand what I'm saying?
mm. I
But
get you. I
if
get you.
you made if you made plans before time to say, okay, Jackie, I have this at this day on this day. Lecture, I have this on this day and this day. How do I maneuver around it?
So basically, what you're saying is, as a student athlete, it's very important to have the right schedule in place, and some sort of um, not some sort of relation with your lectures. Is that what you say?
Yes, 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 Chloe.
What?
Yes,
mm.
No,
Chloe.
I think it's perfect. To everyone who just joined us again, welcome Mocho, one of our hosts.
Yo, you can call me by my full name, Claire. I'm not
I
in
did.
trouble. Let's just stick to
No, you're
Mo.
not in
Let's just
trouble.
stick to Mo.
Momo. That's what we call it. Okay, in this, we call it Momo. How's it, Momo? So yeah, Mo. We're happy that you've joined us. Pepe was just telling us about how he balances between being a student and an
Mm,
athlete. and I'm just wondering how he gets the time to be a rock star as well. But anyway, that's a story for another day.
Yes, please can it be a story for another day? Ke a kopa ka pele le moya hle.
Yeah, man.
In all honesty.
So yeah, Pepe. I mean, it's very lovely. You know, I think I'm getting to see a side of you that we never see. Like I said, in the streets, you know, you look like a rock star on the field. You're a rock star, and we never really get to see the side of you, the student in you, because we think that these guys, they're just here for the ragas and that's it. And now I'm gonna move over to the importance of your studies. I mean,
Mm.
how important is it that you get your qualification, just in case? Do you guys have such conversations within the rugby group?
So our coaches, we're lucky enough to have coaches that understand that rugby will come to an end, Cody.
Yeah,
So no matter what level you play at, that's why we actually have Springbok players that played Varsity Cup. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you study to get a qualification for you to have a life after rugby also. Rugby can't be everything because eventually you're going to have to retire. So for me, I mean, my grandparents wanted me to have a qualification. I'm the first grandkid to go to an institution. Do you understand?
Mm.
So they thing was, okay, Pepe, we see the sport part, but can you at least, when you have time, make sure you come back with a qualification.
yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That was the only goal. So for me, I had rugby, but now you have to say, okay, rugby is there. Rugby is a bursary. It's paying for 1, 2, 3 for me to have a qualification. So a qualification doesn't. How can I put it? If Varsity Cup said you don't need 60 credits to play, we would have
Yeah,
problems in South.
yeah,
We would have problems. But because you have to have 60 credits to play, that means I must make sure I pass every module, every semester, every year for me to be eligible to play. But what that does, it sets you up for life because after, not everyone can be a Springbok, Cody. Not everyone can be a Sharks player, a Bulls player, a Stormers player. So
yeah.
I'm okay. I've got my qualification. I've played Varsity Cup for, let's say, 4 years or 3 years, whatever the case is. Let me go to a corporate world. I'm set for life. Do you
100%.
understand?
I
And
get
I
it.
think that's what I'd emphasize on the next generation, that yes, rugby, but let's try put books first, then rugby.
Hi, Pepe. Is this you? I am shocked. I'm
I'm
shocked.
not even believing it. I'm not even
Hi,
believing it. I
are you
think
reading a
the
script?
the
This brewer is reading a
who
script there
should
in
say
front
that
of
he's
him.
reading a script,
Not
shame. This is
even,
not the paper
not
I
even.
know. This is really not the
Yeah, yeah.
paper I know, guys. At least at this point, I can go back and reference E. Carter because we all knew him as the rugby player, the football player, and the vibe. So him being this deep about education, it's actually really nice because it just emphasizes the importance of it and how one needs to be set for life even after being an athlete. Jengoba Esha.
Mm,
But I think one thing that I also wanted us to touch on is the matter of association and how important it is for you to be in the field not only of playing but also getting along with people who have the same goals as you in terms of education or getting to a level that you want to get at when it comes to your goals as an athlete. How important is it to associate yourself with people that have similar goals versus people that just go party every weekend?
So, yo, Momo, you're coming in hot, huh? So,
I told you
um,
this. I told you.
so for me, if Momo, you're gonna give me positive energy, I have to replicate the same thing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to have certain guys that, yes, I looked up to them, but they didn't give me the fact that, yeah, you looked up to me, so stay there. What they
mm,
did was, bro, you can do this. I
mm.
remember we had awards. The last rugby awards we had at UJ was in 2019. So Odro Kunjana and Siphesihle Nkabini, Ari, don't know if you remember them, Cody. So
Yeah,
they once said to me, you hype so many people more than yourself. You don't know how good you are to be where certain people are. Put yourself first because you give people so much energy and you believe in people so much that you forget about yourself and you look down on yourself. So I took that. I mean, I still go with it today. If I give Cody good energy, Cody, you can do this. You're doing so well. You're probably the one of the best MCs at the moment at Varsity Cup, and then Cody comes to me and says, "Okay, uh, Pepe, but yo, the way you're doing things, you're playing so well. Just do one, two, three." I was exposed to that. I was exposed to Cody. You can't miss three tackles. You just can't. Do you understand? So I got
Yeah.
good criticism from my peers, and I really appreciate some of them because they helped me to be where I am. So yeah.
Mo, I want you to come back for him, eh? It was so good to hear him tatazeling for a little bit. Pela with me, he was easy. He was easy. But I mean, just to calm it down for you a little bit, Pepe. You spoke about VC Varsity Cup. I just want us to just touch on that. You've played in two or three, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
two or three varsity cups, and it's not easy because there's always new talent coming in, and we look at young guns, and especially being a backline player, there's boys that are hotter, but
And
you've stayed
pressure.
there and fresher, and we're always looking for new talent, which is something that we're going to touch on a little bit later with the Springboks. But for now, how did Pepe stay in that varsity cup squad? And Pepe, I know, it's as a rugby player, it's not always easy. There's injuries, there's all of that. How did you manage year in and year out? We see Siphesihle Nkabini there on the starting, or whether it's starting or sub on the bench.
Mm.
You are there. How did you manage that?
So Cody, new talent is it's very hard to keep up because you have to keep evolving every year. So you have to bring something that someone doesn't have. You understand what I'm saying? At the same time, still being yourself. Do you understand? So you start. Luckily, we have at UJ. You have when we train, we obviously our sessions get recorded. That's just how Jonathan McQueen operates. So you have to go back and do your homework. Okay, I'm slacking in this thing because the opposition 13 is good at taking me on the outside. Okay, how do I then get better at that? Every time he goes outside, I must make sure I make a spot read. Every time when I have the ball, it must be something unpredictable. Go back, Cody. You have to now start
Hmm.
training your mind to be something else. You have to say, okay, I've got these tools in my cabinet. I've used them for last year. This year, someone comes, he wants your position. Okay. Firstly, you have to make sure that you understand that there will be someone better than you, talented, more, let me say, more talented than you. You
Yeah,
have to outwork the person, just like how I outworked people to get where I am.
Hmm.
So I can't stop now that I've reached my goals. Do you understand? So I
yeah,
had to
Hmm.
motivate myself almost. I wouldn't say I did it every day, but you have to still think you're the best. You're there for a reason.
yeah.
You have motivation videos. Everything is on. Luckily, everything is on YouTube, Google.
And
So
and you got to the city and you had Wi-Fi, eh, Jaya?
you had vital,
Imagine.
sorry. That
Imagine.
one was vital.
Imagine.
So I had to keep motivating myself that I'm the best, and I had to make sure that I bring something extra to the team.
Asithi kuyibuyelisa kancane ne, and I want to pick at your brain a bit on this one since we are touching on mental health and how stable you have to be and confident you have to be in yourself, knowing that there's someone better. We're human at the end of the day.
Mm.
Yeah, well, it's kind of something that we're going to think about and be like, oh, I wasn't so good today, or I don't feel like going to training because I didn't perform well yesterday or at the game, so what and so what. So, how have you, as an athlete, dealt with that mental lashback? Yoguti, I have not been good at some point, but I worked on being better. Especially with the fact that Uguti, your goal is to outperform someone or outwork someone, but how do you deal with someone doing that to you?
Yeah. Oof. Good question.
Siyabonga, Mo.
So, touching on the mental health side, Momo, I've probably, most people wouldn't know because I pitch every day. Every day there's a smile on my face because this is just where I am. But I've seen a dark side, Momo, where I struggled with mental health. Not even about rugby, but just about life in general. There's days where you get tired, where it's like
Mm,
the world is coming to an end and you're probably not doing your grandparents proud, your mom proud, your brother. So I had those days, to be honest. And the first thing I'd advise people is that accept that you're struggling with something. And
mm,
I'm struggling with something. I can go to Cody or I can go to Momo and say, yo, Momo, today I'm feeling like I'm I'm feeling low on energy. I have this thing bothering me. I have this going on. How do I go about it? But because we men, us, the Codys of the world, we tend to keep quiet. We go into our shells. You say, I'll get better. Tomorrow's going to be a new day. Yes, that's good. But if you don't speak about it more, you'll always be in trouble. So
mm,
I I had a friend, um, I have lots of friends, but one that was there was Tumi. She's actually now in France. She went to Olympics. She's been there for me when those days were a bit dark. I mean, I can name a few guys, but you have to open up more. No matter how tough it is, Cody, you just have to open up to someone, speak to someone.
Yeah,
That's one thing. And then if they're doing that to you in terms of sport wise, like I said, you just have to bring something different. Be
yeah.
someone else. Yeah. Be a beast, if I could put it that way.
That's absolutely incredible, man. Again, it's good to just get into all of this. I think, like I said, Pepe, we see the happy Pepe, every time, and I'm sure a lot of people don't even know that the full name is Siphesihle because of,
Mm.
Mr. Lifestyle, Mr. Happy all the time. So now, just staying on this mental aspect of things, are there structures in place? As a high performance player that are there to help you and help guide you when you are going through this, because now we,
Yes.
we we might have one or two of our viewers that are possibly planning on coming into an institution, whether UJ or whatever, but are there structures in place that actually help you to manage such?
Mm. So, firstly, yes, there is. There's actually quite quite a lot of that because let's say people that are focused on academics, they also need help. So UJ has psyched. We also have a financial, obviously, advisor and academic advisor. Sorry. So they are. It's just about you accepting that you need help. So if I know
Yeah.
that Cody, I'm struggling with, like for me, for example, I struggled a lot with a lot of things in terms of I didn't have much.
Mm.
I'd see a guy coming to training with Adidas shoes and nice things, yeah, well, and that
Yeah.
eventually, no matter how strong you are, it will get to you because we're human. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So there's the one thing I'd advise and say is powerful is psyched. Psyched is, I mean, those people send us messages almost every week, mails, and people tend to ignore it, but
Mm.
they actually help. So there is structures that are there for us.
Absolutely great. On a lighter note, paper man, hey, I'm not used to seeing you like this, eh? I'm gonna put you on the spot now. And we're gonna, or just before I actually do that, what is Pepe's goal? Where would Pepe like to see Pepe in probably the next 2-3 seasons. If all goes well, by the power of God, Shala, where would Pepe like to see him? Because I can tell you from where I'm sitting and myself watching you play, I'm like, but we'd like to see you donning the green and gold. We'd like to see you in that Lions jersey sooner than like really soon. We want to see you there, whether you are playing the biggest tournaments or whatever. But where would Pepe love to see Pepe within the next couple of seasons?
So I actually had a goal to be a Blitzbok, then a 15th player, actually. Funny enough. So I had those goals. So my first goal was obviously firstly get into UJ, make varsity sevens. Then obviously Varsity Cup. And I've achieved those goals. Now it's how do I punch above that? How do I break that barrier of me becoming what people actually want me to become, what I want to become? So where I wanted to see myself is, to be honest with you, Cody, I want like in Cape Town at the Blitzbok. But things change after I obviously got a few caps of Varsity Cup where I want to be in the union. So my goal was obviously to go back home to the Sharks because I love them so much. I want to be back home playing in the black and white jersey. That is my goal. That's where I am now. So obviously with injuries that happened this year, they helped me back a bit, but got distracted, of course, because you have goals, then you're out for maybe 4 games for Varsity Cup. You've missed 4 games for Varsity Cup. So I got distracted a bit, lost focus. But my goal for the next 2 years is I'm at the Shark Tank. I'm in black and white.
All these Devon Brews and this Shark Tank. I mean, to our viewers again, man. We do apologize for the issues that we're having. Our team behind scenes is working on it. Alternatively, you can catch us on Instagram at Sandman Sports, or you can catch us on X as well. But the team is working really hard behind the scenes to sort it out. Now, Pepe, we've just had 2 massive weekends of the Springbok games. Now, I just want to hear what's your take on the Springboks performance against the Irish? What did you think of that? What your overall take on the 2 games? But more importantly, this one that we lost.
Do you want me to start? Oh, you want me to speak about the one that we lost?
Of course. Yeah, if you can touch more on that one because it's the more recent one, eh?
Cody, that one broke my heart. I won't lie to you. But Naaman, Cody, so if you watch Cody,
I can hear you.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay. Cody?
I can hear you. Don't worry, I can hear you. And like I said, to all our viewers, I can see you. But we are having some visual difficulties. But the team is working really hard behind scenes. So if you're struggling, again, you can catch us on Instagram, the live feed from Sandman Sports, or on X. But Pepe, I can hear you. Are you back? Are we good?
Can I go?
So right now, I want you to talk to me because I can hear you. I want you to talk to me.
Yeah.
So if you look, Cody, the way we played against Ireland the first game, they attacked a wider channel, which was 13 channel. They came out firing. Obviously, Ireland, both teams came out firing. If you look at the game at Kings Park, if you follow the box that much, in terms of when I say follow them, you watch their training sessions, you listen to interviews, you would have a feeling, and I think the supporters would say yes to this. I watched the captain's run in Durban on the phone, obviously. Obviously, we don't see everything, but for me, they were a bit I'd say lethargic. The Ireland threw the first punch. Do you understand?
Yeah.
We used to Springboks throwing the first punch. I mean, if Franco Mossad and Eben Etzebeth can be bleeding, every coach would be happy to see that. Opposition coach. So I think that first 6 minutes, you have Valilaroo with an HRA. Do you understand? Sasha Mgomezulu has to come onto the field now, a youngster. So I personally think that we moved away from the last week's game plan at Loftus. We came with a different game plan, and it backfired, unfortunately. I give them credit for making sure that we still put 24 points without scoring a try. I mean, those guys are world champs for a reason, Cody.
Yeah.
It's not by mistake. So if we, I personally say, if we stick to what we did at Loftus and do it in Durban, why not? Why change a winning formula? But at the same time, I understand that there's certain, if you get to test match rugby, Cody, it's the fundamental, it's the small things.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to see maybe Kirtley or Chisholm going to score tries, but it's what did Sia Kolisi do in that ruck? Hey, did he clean the guy out? It's those small things. And we lost the small battles. We lost him. Whereas the week before, we won the 50-50 calls. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it was very good test match, but tough for South Africans.
Yeah, it was a tough one indeed. But just before we cross over to the game that's obviously going to happen against the Portuguese, I just have a quick one. Obviously, Urasi Erasmus released some players and took them to Curry Cup duty, right? So what that said to me is that there was a few openings for the debutants to obviously come on. A person like Zulu had a great performance in the first match. He also made a couple of contributions in the game. The second test match against Ireland. That was very painful to watch. And yes, they did throw a first punch. Very surprising to see from the Springboks, and I'm happy that at least in the second half they came out. But what do we then make of the Springboks having been sent to Curry Cup duty? Do you think that had an effect? And the second part is, did it backfire for us on the Springbok end to have an unchanged side facing Ireland again?
It didn't backfire because these guys are used to playing at that level. So they know what it takes. They have, trust me, Mo, they have good recovery systems. They have everything. That releasing of players, now you have to understand, Mo, that you need people with game time going into a championship. So if they didn't get game time at Curry Cup, that means we have only one game, which is Portugal. Then we have to go to a championship. You understand? So it can't have an impact on the boys that played on Saturday against Ireland because they were picked. They picked to do the job. These ones went to go do get game time at Curry Cup. I do not think that played the role. I just personally think Ireland wanted it more than us. Do you understand? So
Yeah, that's painful.
So
that is so painful to hear. I'm not even going to lie.
So box, everyone knows what to do at the box. I mean, they've got a healthy environment. You can see. I mean, you can be sent to go play Curry Cup next week. You're playing Test match rugby again. Do you understand? So in terms of us being affected, I don't think we were. I just think we on the day were beaten by a team more hungrier than us.
Were they more hungry or they just had last minute luck? Let me hear your thoughts on that.
Oh, Batung.
Tough question. You want me to go very deep here? So maybe yes, they had luck because that ball bounced out. Sasha obviously touched it. Unfortunately, you can't go to the TMO all the time.
Yeah.
The Chisholm Kobe slide, questionable. So, like I said, 50-50 calls went to them. So, unfortunately, a 50-50 is a 50-50, Mo. As much as we hosted them, but that last one was questionable, but they were hungry, Mo, because they came firing. to see him and it's a bit bleeding, it's very rare, if I could put it
It
that
is
way.
so rare.
Anyway,
It is
now.
so
Yes.
rare.
I'm- you guys, I can see you're getting emotional. Mo is about to cry here. Pepe is
Please,
just
I don't cry. I don't
he
cry.
feels like, yeah, no, I'm on here.
Easy Mo, easy Mo.
Easy Mo, easy Mo. So one of your points that you spoke about is and I think Mo also touched on it, is Usasha Ungomezulu. You know, I think coming into the side, we spoke about young players a lot. What's your take on him, and especially in the second half? What did you think? What did you think of his performance? He walks in and listen, absolute class.
Cody, people
Yes.
find it so surprising that that guy can do that in a test match level. If you go back, if you followed him high school, Stormers, SAA, then Springboks, you will understand that he's used to playing in high pressure games. I mean, the Stormers have a URC. Do you understand? That guy
Yeah.
can play 10, 12, and 15. So he's been in the structures of SA Rugby. For him to come in and do what he does, obviously people are going to see him because he's wearing a Springbok jersey now. He's in the spotlight. He comes on. I personally think at the change room halftime, he was told, have a go, Sasha. Do your thing.
Yeah.
He ran to a prop, evaded a prop, full on contact, a prop, a fullback and a prop. I think it was Tide Furlong from Ireland. He just ran through him, basically. Our coach would scream a proper a fullback running over a prop. Never. He would go mad. So I want you to understand that he's been doing that for the Stormers. He's doing that now in the Springbok jersey. Most players get to that level and they wanna. I want Rasi to see me as a good
Yeah.
system player. Do you understand? He
Yeah.
gets in, he says, okay, I'll do good within the system. He's an exceptional player, Cody. And I'm so glad that South Africa has so much depth going into the championship and obviously 2027.
Sorry, Mo. I
Eh,
can see you eager, hey. But I just want one more because he touched on this thing of players that are eager. So now, do you think? And I mean, maybe we're not necessarily there at the rebuilding stage yet. I think we still got, I'm going to say, hypothetically speaking, our second team and our third team that are amazing, that are great. Now, do you think that we should be giving young players that are on the fringes a chance to just go, especially against Portugal? Yes, the squad has been released already, but do you think that more and more players should now be coming up and getting an opportunity with our World Cup winners slowly phasing out of the game?
Okay, firstly, Cody.
And rather, how should it be done?
Okay, so yes, the guys that are in the fringes should get an opportunity, but I want people to understand something. There's a South Africa A, and people obviously don't watch that because they're not technical. They say they're not technically Springboks, but they are emerging Springboks. Do you get it? So these people that people think they're in the fringes have been in the system already. So they've went and played maybe in England against Bristol Bears, I think the year before that. SAA, for example. Then there's our Bok players, which have won World Cups. 2-1. You understand? So the guys will get an opportunity. I mean, we played Wales. Apelele Fassi was back. If you remember, Apelele Fassi played just before COVID, during COVID, where they played against Georgia. So he's been in the system. So I don't want people to say, do youngsters need an opportunity? But they've played SAA or they've played a test match before. Yes, we need to obviously open doors for them, but it's done in a very structured way. Wales, some of them got an opportunity. Now against Portugal, if you look at that team changed completely. I think the guy that they saved there was Sasha. I think he's still there, and Steyman, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the opportunity to showcase that Rasi, I'm ready to be a championship player, a World Cup player, prospect. So we have to understand that everything has a plan. They're going to play now against Portugal, and they have to not necessarily prove themselves, but to say, Coach, I'm ready for selection. I'm going to give you my all. So
Yeah.
we shall see on Saturday what happens. But I personally think the way that it's going at the moment is just exceptional.
Go for it,
On the
Mo.
note, on the note of seeing what's going to happen on Saturday, I want us to touch on captaincy, right? Usman Murat is obviously going to be captaining for his first time. For the Springbok side, we're going to be seeing Pepsi Butele is going in as well, Vessels as well as Khobola. So we're seeing a fresher team, if I can put it in for lack of better words. But I want us to go back to March, where there were rumors that Usia might possibly lose his captaincy because of his move to France, right? And then there was voting being put out for the likes of Eben, Lukanya, as well as Bongi Benambi. I think France, however, was also on the list, of being voted for as to who can possibly be the box captain by people's choice. Obviously, Elizabeth took the reins, the vibes, what we need. But I just want us to take a look at the impact that Usia Kolisi has, especially now that he's also been called back or had been called back for the Ireland series, and he's not called back for the one against Portugal, but just the impact that a captain like Usia Kolisi has and why it was a necessity for him to be called back for this series.
Okay. Firstly, the whole world knew that Sia Korisi is our captain. Yes, he moved to France. Also said in an interview that he understood that moving to France might make him lose his captaincy, but he's just glad to wear the Springbok jersey. So I want people to understand that. Secondly, there's in every rugby team there's a leadership group. The Boks have tons of those players. They know their role. So for Sia to accept that I might not be captain, Eben might take over, or whoever might take over, is because they not in a building phase, but they're looking at a bigger picture. Salman Murat's getting an opportunity to be captain. He's 20. So he's gonna be in the next World Cup, which is in 2027. No one knows about if Sia, if whoever is still gonna be there. So let me throw Salman Murat there. Let's see how he does in a test match, in situations where we're on the 5 meter. Does he go pose? Does he go touch? What does he say? Do you understand? So they are bringing in now the new generation, the fringes, as you guys said, the players that must get opportunities. Salman Murat is going to be there on Saturday. We shall see what he has. If you look at that team, Pepsi has been a leader from KHS. Do you understand that? So he has people amongst him that are going to help him, just like the people that Sia had. Sia had Dwayne. He had Peter Steph. Do you see the trend? It's a trend. So Box is in a good space.
On the note of us being a good space, are we winning on Saturday?
And what are your predictions? How much?
What are your predictions, Pepe?
For the Portugal game. Yes.
Yes.
62-12.
Yeah?
Yes.
To South Africa.
Of course, Mo.
No, wait, I want you to repeat that.
Why are we even giving them the 2? That's what I want to get to.
So I want you to understand something here, Cody. Why do I say 62? I've watched Portugal play Namibia. So that's why I have such a. You look at the team that was selected. Those people are going to run that ball, Cody. They have Manili Bok at 10. You have Andre Estes at 12, an attacking 12. If you don't want him to attack, he still straightens the line. He'll be a ball carrier. They have Lucanio Arm on the outside. They have a loose trio that can move, a mobile loose trio. You have Ben Jason Dixon. You have Pepsi Buthelezi. You have Evan Ross. It's obvious what's going to happen. It's obvious, Cody.
Okay, well, you must put money on that. I'm definitely coming to join you when we watch that one, eh?
You're more than welcome. more than welcome.
Mm-hmm. On that note, where are we watching the game?
This weekend,
Mm.
ish. Unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, Mo, you in Durban.
I cannot disclose where I'm at, guys. No one needs to know who's in Gigupi about classified energy here.
So Cody and I will probably be, I don't know, maybe 96 Republic or by our place.
Mm.
We'll probably see.
So just a conversation I'd like to introduce before we let you go. I know we've been talking about rugby, obviously your story, the Fox. I want us to touch on women's rugby. And I know the team is going to bite my head because I'm always the one who's bringing it up. But for today, I will always say, Oguchi, I'm always going to be an advocate of making sure that women's sport is spoken about, especially when it comes to Iraq, because we're seeing a change. We're noticing attention going towards them. And in some sense, they are bringing home the numbers that we need. We have the league that is going on here, women's division. We're seeing EP Queens are taking it. We're seeing the Sharks ladies are also bringing back the numbers. Is Dingagala. So, in your own perspective, what do you make of the progression of women's rugby that is happening in South Africa?
I thought it would take long, to be honest, but
Taking
when
long.
you look, when you
Hi,
look into,
Mo.
they actually put so much work in themselves to be better. I mean, if you look at the Sharks, if you take the Sharks Premier Division a year, 2 years ago, they were they played promotion relegation. Do you understand?
Mm,
With them
mm,
now they're fighting to be in the top four, to be in the semi-final. The Bulls unfortunately have the resources to have such players that they have. So they obviously the pinnacle. Then you get teams like the Eastern Province, who
yeah.
we think of, also people would say they
Mm,
born and bred, rugby's there. To
yeah.
see that team struggling to beat a Sharks team. So can you see that they now trying to compete to be at least 6 teams in the Premier Division competing to be in the top four? That's growth. We
Mm,
have, I mean, we host, I think it's called World XV or something like that in Cape Town.
yes,
We have
yes.
teams from overseas, so they want to grow. So they are going somewhere, as much as it's going to take time, but where they are at the moment, it's a very, very, very impressive, and we wish them well in terms of growing, and we hope that we will see them at the top one day.
Yes,
Okay,
Mo.
I'm gonna bite your head for the last time, baby. So, in one of the lives, ne, we and I were having a conversation about the business side of sport, ne, and the fact that the women's end, the games are always used as an opener to the men's game. So, what I want to ask you, in terms of marketing, in terms of resources that are available to the men's versus the women's teams, do you still believe that we should be in that state where we are using the women's games as the openers to the men's, which have the support that they need, anyways? What's your take on that?
Careful how you answer that.
I think
Please be very careful.
We should still stick with what is working. Why do I say that? If you want a URC game at the Sharks to be played before, then the girls play after. It's gonna look wrong because some people would leave. Do you
Yeah,
understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
Not taking away anything from the girls, but since they're still growing, we cannot now rush to say they must now play on a Saturday at 4, and there must be 52,000 people watching because they
Mm,
still.
mm,
But once they reach where obviously we want them to be the box, we want them to be like the box where they go to a World Cup, we expect them to come back with a trophy. Once they reach that stage, then it's all systems go. But at the moment, we still pushing them to be at the top, like a New Zealand, like an
yeah.
Australian team. Do you understand? So I'm not taking anything away from them. They're growing
Mm.
rapidly, going very fast, but we shouldn't get over eager now. If
Anyway,
that
and
makes
Dave, you must be careful. Yo.
On the note of then being over eager, so a follow up. Obviously, there's a certain responsibility that we have as fans, spectators, media. What do you feel is missing from that aspect when it comes to, in this instance, women's rugby?
I think most South Africans don't know about it, to be honest. And
Thanks.
you look at the
One
you,
beta. Never mind. Zokuthenga imoto.
Hey, Mo.
so they if you look at people, people know the box, people know triggers. Why? Because they're winning. Do you understand? So you're gonna be known because of that. Once they start winning more, things will change for them very
Mm,
quickly. So I personally think if they invest, obviously we have more to them, and they start winning, then that's when everything's gonna come on a silver platter to them. But obviously they have to work hard for it, just like
mm.
how the Springboks do it. I mean, we see it; they've done it back to back. So if they want to get there, they're gonna have to go an extra mile.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm done with the spice, guys. I'll
Uh,
calm down. I'll calm down.
oh my word. Once again, to everyone who joined us tonight, thank you so much. We've absolutely enjoyed having you in this platform with us. It is Sandman Sports, and we had Momo here with us, who was drilling our guest. Pepe, thank you so much for coming in here and sharing things that were rather personal. I think now a lot of people, a lot of young players, upcoming players from all walks of life will then know that it's possible if you just believe and you put your mind and you set it right. Pepe, thank you so much for joining us. Momo, always a
Yeah, well,
pleasure.
it's
Always a
always a
pleasure.
pleasure, my son. Pepe,
Ah,
siyabonga kakhulu mina. Ngisakhona izimbuzo engifuna ukuzokubuza zona, but ngizokuthinta. Ngisafuna
No,
ukukurelax kancane.
thank you for
Kodwa
hosting me.
siyabonga. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very
on that
much.
note, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Do the
And
right thing.
comment, darling. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you. Yes,
Pepe
bye.
la Pepe.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't know that much about my boy Pepe. I'm so happy that Pepe, you were